In today's episode of my podcast story, we have Aisha Makara, a remarkable creator, artist, world traveler, speaker, and author. Aisha is the host of the inspiring podcast, Joyful Living, where she shares insights on how to cultivate joy and creativity in our fast-paced world. Born in Mongolia and orphaned at a young age, Aisha has traveled to over 60 countries, embracing a nomadic lifestyle that fuels her artistic spirit. She recently made headlines as an artist selected to send her work into outer space with SpaceX. She's the author of the Joyful Living Guidebook, which offers practical advice for staying centered and vibrant. Aisha's journey is a testament to resilience and the power of creativity, and she's here to share her inspiring journey on how she built her show from the ground up, empowering others to embrace their own creative energy. Tell me your name and what your podcast is about, and what's the name of your podcast.
No, I don't have a pod. I'm a guest on a podcast now, normally.
Okay, 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 okay.
My
So
name is Aisha Makara. I'm an author, artist, and entrepreneur.
okay, okay, okay. So what do you do?
I right now most of my time I'm creating art. Making my living of selling my artwork and sailing. Like right now, I'm entering the space of sailing, and started to work in the industry as well. It's completely like a new field for me, and it's one of my dreams. Sail around the world, and you get to start somewhere. I decided, like, when I don't create or like when I'm not at home and doing art, I um sailing around, So that's my kind of like a next big things. I like started to do deliveries after I'm finished all the course. It's like several steps to be like captain, captain of the coast and after captain of the sea and after captain of the ocean.
Yeah. Oh, are you currently selling, or it's something you do part time?
I mean, it's I started to create many years like I started to do art like more like I would say professionally like about 5 years ago, during the COVID time. And my art was sold. I sold this so many like my prints and like hundreds of them, and I was feeling like, oh, I get to go in this journey of being an artist, and I did. And I'm still creating and I'm still selling my art. And I'm actually like understand I can make living out of that. It's kind of very.
Yeah, Jay, if you don't mind me asking, what kind of art do you create?
It's like I create triangles and dots, and at the same time, it's like every time it's like a different, ways of I'm doing it, and it's like I don't know. I call it like it's a galaxy space art.
I as much as I'm trying to as much as I'm trying to understand what you create, I don't really like get it. Can you show me on camera?
Oh yeah, just give me a second. I will show you some of my photos. You can also find me on like on my website. I can share with you my website.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, you do that. Yeah, and yeah.
This is some of my art.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
It's not finished yet, but it's kind of like this.
You paint this.
Yeah, so I do markers. I use acrylic markers and canvas. Sometimes, many times I'm using markers and uh, paper.
Okay.
And now I started to do more like on the big pieces, like canvases, because I have like a lot of demand. Last year, this year I sold in a big art, like a big canvases. So
How how long
it's
how long how long did that particular work you just showed me and take to do?
Oh, it depends. Sometimes this one I haven't finished yet. I just started. I just do it
Oh, okay.
like kind of like a layers and layers and layers. And now, if you see on my like on my wall,
Okay, this one is completed.
I'm doing all my wall. It's going to be like
Okay. It has multiple colors. Oh, wait. The one at the bottom, is that one part of?
yeah. I started
Wait.
this one is like like I'm working on this piece, but like it's not finished yet. It's going to be several layers as well.
Oh, I'm trying to imagine what it will look like when it's finished.
Yeah, I will send it to you if you're interested.
Oh my God, honestly, wow. I'm trying to imagine the amount of devotion it would take to
Yes.
from start to finish.
Meditation for me, it's like I'm meditating in my own, I don't know, my own flow. And like I believe life is a flow, and like I believe that we are the flow, and that we like energy. And it's like when you connecting your soul journey with this reality, and you started to just be, and
Yeah,
you're not thinking, you're just feeling. And that is completely different like way of connecting with life itself. And I'm feeling you don't have the fear, you don't have expectations, you don't have like you just completely like devoted towards what what is there, or like it is what it
yeah,
is,
yeah,
like just accepting the journey
yeah.
itself. And and I'm continuously creating. So for me it's a gift and curse in the same time, because I'm feeling like to be an artist and to be a very creative human being, it's not easy, because um I'm in my life I didn't know that one day I'm going to be artist, and I'm going to be like doing so much art, and send my art to the space. I'm the first artist in the world who sent the art to the space
Wow.
with the SpaceX.
Wait, the way you just said it, like you're just saying as if there's nothing big there. Like, oh, I'm the first artist. Like that's serious. That's big deal.
And I was saying to myself, like I'm already kind of like made my kind of like blueprint or mark in the history of the art books. Like in the future years, we'll send the art to the space, and more things will happen in the space, and
But you're the first.
years, And I'm feeling like in the future, I don't know how the future will unfold itself. I just know that I continue to create, and I'm actually enjoying it. And the way my art is like more structured, even my like the way I'm doing life or like creating life. It's more like structure. And I was asking myself, like, oh, why I'm so like structured? Why is it every time I have like this kind of way of seeing, not abstract like many artists do? Because also like, when I started to do my art career, I interview like hundreds of the artists to understand their brain, or like understand the way they operate. And for me, it was like interesting that they don't have like ideas or dreams, or they don't like, they just want to be, that's it. And that just exists somehow, and just create the art. Some of them very passionate about the art, some of them like
Yeah,
tired, at the same time they accept the journey. So for me it was like very interesting process of learning about artists and artist journey. And
yeah.
and
You
for
you
me,
you did you'd mentioned that you interviewed hundreds of artists, and for me, what my brain is thinking is, why didn't you like turn those interviews to like a podcast? That would have been really helpful to a lot of other artists that just starting out too.
yes, I started to do the podcast, like a kind of like a podcast on YouTube. And but I did it very raw, and like, and I published like, I don't remember, like I think 80 of them. And it's somewhere in the YouTube, like many years ago, some years ago, like I think like 5 years ago, 4 years ago.
Oh,
And I haven't like continued with that because I kind of like started to travel, and got kind of a little bit, um I would say like tired and exhausted, because I was living in United States that time. And I just moved back to Europe, to Lisbon recently. For me, like it was such a like exhausting time. In the beginning was amazing, and after I kind of started to go with the flow, I call it like this. And more you go with the flow, it's like art taking you in such a different spaces or places. And I started to live in a van, like, and I was traveling around Florida, and after like other parts in my van, and my van was broken in. And like many things happened and during that time. And recovery took me like, everything was stolen. It was like a whole process of understanding how, what it is to be alone, kind of in a new country, with almost no friends, and living your own kind of like a dream.
yeah,
Was when I moved to America, and I decided to be like artist in Art Basel. I, in 2021, I moved to America like late of 2019, and the COVID hit, and I didn't end up in Art Basel in 2020. I ended up in 2021. And, for me, like after I've been in Art Basel, I was like, what's next for me? And I just got a van and I started to travel around United States, sell my art from my van, go from went from the festival to festival. And I love my life. My life is amazing. I really enjoy. I create my own kind of like bubble, I would say,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that I enjoyed so much, and I didn't have any like I didn't feel like I'm struggling or I you know I own something. I didn't feel that. I was very
Yeah.
relaxed. I feel I have enough. If I want to make like for next 3 months or for next 6 months money, I knew how much I'm spending a month. I knew that if I started to work for whole week, I make for like next 6 months, because I could make money in one day and 2 days stole the money for the months. So for me it
Yeah.
was like a way of creating, like making money and like creating rest of the months and just staying somewhere in national park or staying somewhere that like I like to stay, and I'm feeling like for 1 week I stay here, 1 week I stay there. I was very like mobile and happy and going to this farming market, like go to the farmers and like ask for the fruits or like buy fruits there because it was super cheap. Resell the fruits in the cities, and I was feeling like I'm doing something that I am passionate about. And the same time, I didn't feel like lonely in that moment. And the same time, like when these things happened, I feel lonely. Like and like in that moment when I was living in the van, I was like, I always been surrounded by people. And
Yeah. Yeah.
surrounded by people. Yes, I sleep, like like find a parking spot or going in some places that safe to park and to sleep. But at the same time, like I feel I was like abundance. And once it just happened, and all my documents, all the money, and all the bank accounts, all the everything what I own was just gone one day, and I feel like wow. And it took me a while to recover things. It took me a while.
Wait. What? You kind of moving really really fast. What happened?
Well, one day I just my van was broken in. My someone emptied my van and took absolutely everything. And that day I was just kind of like out for 30 minutes.
Ooh.
And I didn't took anything. It was like a kind of like meditational walk.
Yeah.
And when I come back, nothing was there, and like everything was broken. I didn't know how to react. I was just so like
Shocked.
yes. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. I mean, year before my apartment's broken and like somebody broke into my apartment and stole many valuable things. But they didn't touch my documents, my passports and like
Yeah. That wasn't worth anything for them.
yeah, this time they took absolutely all of it and
Ooh.
was completely I don't know. I was like smashed, and I was like, I don't know what to do because I just knew one of the communities I can go to, like a hippie community. And so I went there. I asked for support, like, and I told them I don't have any money, nothing. That's the last the gas I have and all the my, all everything that I own. I had the last cash on my bank account. I think like $500. I don't remember, and I just cash out, like transfer to someone while it was there. And I'm like, I tried to like figuring out how I can, find a way to recover myself. And it took me like almost a year to make money, move and get my like document situated myself. And kind of like decided to come back to Europe. And it took me extra, I think, 6 months to move to Europe. And it was like whole process of me like really committed myself to do that because it's a lot again it was a lot of distraction, like a lot of things happened. And I moved from Florida. I moved to Los Angeles, and after I moved to New York. And for me, like living in New York was amazing, and the same time was very destructive because so much going on every day. And it's get you can get very easily distracted. And
Yeah. If you don't mind me asking, what's your nationality?
I'm Mongolian.
Yeah.
Originally.
Yeah, because I saw the name. I was like, I was I I I was kind of, are you Muslim?
Well, I didn't grow up in any like I grew up in an orphan house. So for me, like we didn't grow up in there with any kind of like a religion, anything like that. Um,
Okay.
so like for me, I learned the religion when I was like 16, 17, because like that moment of my life, so many things happened. I've been not like not good company, and after my friends started to die, and I need to kind of like find a way to connect, or like find a pillar inside of me. And I started to read different like Bible. I started to read Quran. I was reading like about Buddhism and other philosophies as well, and I was connecting to Buddhism that time. I was like, yes, I'm in my own journey. I'm on my own, like I get to decide for myself the way I want to structure my life or something like that. And later when I started to study engineering, and like engineering, actually it's so funny, like when you study, it shape your mind, because your mind it's still kind of like developing. And that's why after, like, I think you working as engineer, or like you study engineering for several years, I feel like it's shaping your like reality. It's kind of, you become more like structure, the way you're
What type of engineering did you study?
I did construction, like quality management, like a general on all the places. And we did that, like in you have subjects like construction, like
Okay, that's
system.
the civil engineering and structural engineering.
Yeah, like mostly like civil engineering. And but I did a quality management. It's like about the qualities on the road, bridges, and tunnels, and that, in the construction places it's kind of like a similar, but it's different. So it's also different from country to country somehow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'd love to look at some of your interactions with. You have like an incredible story. I know that you're the kind of guest that I'd love to like invite in the future to have another conversation on a different topic entirely. I have a lot of questions I want to ask that I know that I'm just trying to say, okay, let me try to find a theme for the podcast. But even the story of your art, which you told me recently that you started your art journey recently, and that's like another place I could just go with the story. But as much as possible, I want to like stick on the theme of the podcast, right? You've been podcast guesting for how long now?
I'm my probably for last. I'm doing already podcast last 9 months.
Okay, okay,
Yeah, maybe 9 months. Yeah,
okay. So like
and
how many podcasts would you say like you've appeared on?
so far probably around like 50.
50. Wow, wow.
Yeah,
That's a
around
lot.
past. Yeah, I would say 50. Yeah, around 50.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
How's the experience been so far?
I like it. With some podcasts I become very friends, and we right now like mentoring each other and helping each other to like improve some parts of the life, because I also have my mentorship program. And I'm still kind of on a development phase. I don't focus so much on my mentorship skills. I mentor people whenever I have a moment,
Okay.
like here in the present.
Could you expatiate on what the mentorship is about?
It's about like a joyful living. I call it like a joyful life, that everything we get to filter through the joy. And I wrote the book about that. It's called a Joyful Living Guidebook. And where I'm writing, like I was sharing my life experiences and the way I, kind of like manage, or like the way I'm filter some things through my own lens of living life. And I'm just kind of like sharing my wisdom with other to other people, like with other people through my book. And
Yeah.
so I feel like everything in life is a choice. And even the how you filter your reality, like the patterns, that everything in life has a pattern. So you get to kind of like be more aware of what you're creating, why you're reacting to these things, why you're creating drama in your life, why you're creating the thoughts that you have. Because when you started to kind of like stop, observe, and let it go, because like emotions is coming and go, and you understand that. I mean, somehow
Yeah.
probably. do, some people don't. And from my perspective, like I started to understand it like a long time ago, probably like 10 years ago, something. And for me, it was kind of natural. I would say like my life is kind of like a very natural process of growth. And I don't, like I'm always passionate. I live my life with passion. And I feel like that's the best way to live life because I'm always like exciting, I'm like a childlike. I'm like very happy
Yeah.
from my heart. I'm like very like for me like money coming and go as anything else. Money is the energy. And when these things happening in my life, when I didn't have any money that I get to start from scratch and
Yeah. Start from zero.
completely like different country and like in completely like being so far away from your own country and like the recovery process, the everything I understand like it's nothing to fear about, at all actually. I'm not even like I don't have any fear towards the death. I understand life has a beginning and end. We just don't know when it's going to be our end, and we get to aim for the best.
Yeah. Yeah.
Our, do our best every single day, and our best is different from day by day. And I'm just feeling people, like just stuck in the patterns and the programs and they're having
Yeah.
all
Well,
the same fights, and I'm feeling like why people do that to themselves.
yeah. Sorry to interrupt you there. Um, your you what could you walk us through how you saw you got your first podcast host, and what the experience was like?
Well, my first was about gratitude. Um, the lady was talking like she's very. Her podcast was about gratitude, something connected to the gratitude, and that was very deep. The first time it was like a 2 hours podcast, and she um, asking me like many deep questions. It was like very, like I would say like a very deep, deep, deep. Even like I cried a little bit,
Ooh, wow.
in the past. And like I shared many things that happened in my life, and like some, let's say, pros and cons, and some painful moments, some like pleasurable moments, some sad moments, some happy moments, and everything was kind of like interconnected in my life. And she was like very gentle with me. Actually, she was like, "Oh, I understand that some questions can be very like, you know." Deep, and you don't need to answer to them if you don't want to. I said, no, I want. It's nice. It's like nice that someone asking, and it's nice that they curious to learn what I think and how I feel about that.
Yeah.
It was very deep and profound.
How did you find that?
I did well in the beginning it was through the LinkedIn, and after did the Podmatch where we meet. I think I become a member of Podmatch from July, and since then I just do like Podmatches. Sometimes my friends, who has podcast, they inviting me as well, and I'm a part of their like podcast story.
Okay, so the one you said about LinkedIn, you reached out to her or she reached out to you?
I didn't say what.
The lady whose podcast was about gratitude. Did you reach out to her or she reached out to you?
I reached out to her, and she accepted my like being guest to the podcast. I was reaching out like different people because I was about to publish my book, and I want to kind of like share about my book. That's what I was kind of trying to sell my book, and after it's just become more like just a story to share, and it was like kind of inspiration, and like I got some emails from the people that um telling me that my story is actually inspired them, and I appreciate that. I feel like, yeah, I didn't feel like
Hey, just a quick break. If you enjoying the insights so far and want even more behind the scenes ideas, inspiration, and tools for growing your own podcast, join my email list at mypodcaststory.com/join. That is mypodcaststory.com/join. You get access to helpful resources, exclusive updates, and the kind of stuff I only share with my email subscribers. Whether you're starting out or already podcasting, there's something valuable waiting for you. Head over to mypodcaststory.com/join and subscribe. Now, back to the episode.
My story would be inspirational, like my story would be something, people can learn from. I feel like, oh, everyone living the story, everyone living a life. So it's life. I'm not like different from anyone else.
Yeah.
And I just understand I am, because like it looks like my dreams and the way I operate, it's completely different compared to like many people, the way they operate. So yeah.
Yeah. How did you come about the idea of that you should go on podcast and when your book launched? Like, where did you get the idea from?
Because I was doing the podcast, like not podcast. I was just very curious to learn about other artists when I decided to be an artist, and I was interviewing many artists who's already been in a journey of like different, not just artists like doing art like as I do right now, but also like fire performing, acrobats, um, different, like the way I think it was art. So I started interviewing people, like as I said, there are hundreds of the people I was interviewing, and after one day, I didn't see myself to be a guest in a podcast. And one day last year, I started to talk to my mentor, and he said to me, "What about you started to become a guest in a podcast?" And I was like, "Who is going to listen to my story?" And he said, "Your story is very inspiring, and you have achieved already so much, and you're so young, and you get to look at it from perspective like how much you have already done and how much you can actually do, with your story." And yeah, and since then I started to just sort of like reach out people, and some people say yes, some people say no. And I'm just going through this experience, and I don't, I kind of enjoy it. And sometimes I show up, sometimes I kind of like um cannot show up on time, or like have some other issues like traveling. Last year I was traveling so much, so it was not easy sometimes uh to be on podcast because I didn't know where I'm going to be. um Now it's more like easy because I'm more settled, I'm in one place, and it's easy for me to like organize my like agenda for like a whole months or whole year. So I'm in a better mental and physical and emotional, let's say, state right now.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
in a
You know,
journey.
Yeah, you've noticed it appears that most of the podcasts you've been on, you get to share your story and talk about what you do, and for me, it's kind of saddens my heart that I'm deviating from that a bit. But I mean that's like the core of this podcast we're recording. It's to talk about people's story regarding podcasting. So as much as possible, I would tend to like push you towards the podcasting side. So it's not because your story, it's not, of course, your story is interesting, but I'm not just recording this stuff because of the story. I'm recording it for the audience. And as much as possible, I have to like deliver on the promise I've made.
Mhm.
Yeah. Have you ever had any bad experience with doing your time guesting on shows?
No, always was pleasant and amazing and wonderful. I don't know. I never had any.
Are you really sure?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And all like in my from my from my experience so far, it was very good experiences. I didn't have any any issues at all. Like it's always
Oh,
very welcoming and nice, and everyone was just so like wonderful. I mean, I had one like several times, I don't know how many times when the interviewer didn't show up, and I was remembering it was moments when I communicate with interviewing very like polite, and one of them she like I tried to schedule like 3 times, and or like maybe more times we scheduled, and he was didn't show up. And after like she sent an email and she said like, oh, she's going through some tough time, and like she get to like yeah, like a finish, not finish, temporarily a podcast. And well, I was that's kind of like one of the experience I had. She was from Texas, I think. something like that. I don't remember exactly, but like it was also about um, something about like spirits, like sharing about spirits, sharing about your healing journey or something like that.
Yeah, for me, it's the fact that you did something that was what I would consider a podcast, but you didn't necessarily publish it as a podcast. And I'm trying to like imagine the ton of value that a lot of other artists and a lot of other people that they were like possibly in the same shoe you are when you started that interview and podcast. And so for me, the question I want to ask, what would it take for you to like publish those stuff?
When I was doing my podcast, you asking?
When you said it, you said it was really a podcast. Was it on
Yeah, just
podcast platform like Spotify?
I was just asking like a 5 questions. I was like asking them, what impact do you want to create? What inspires you? And do you have a dreams?
Yeah.
And I was asking like, how do you see yourself in 5 years? Who you are in 5 years? And
Yeah.
on like, what advice do you want to give to the people? And that was my like kind of like question that I was asking. And sometimes I was sharing myself, like and about my stories and stuff. And normally people they just like very open, and I did like a person to person. I did it on the festivals, I did on the streets, I did when I'm going somewhere, and I just like decided to interview that person. And like, and some of them I publish, some of them I never publish, and the just feeling that was something very like from my perspective, I learned a lot about other people, like, and the way other people operate by just asking these simple questions, and it's like very broad answer. And for me, by having these questions, I understood that how much people can share. Some people like sharing a lot, like from just one question. Some people share very little. And I understood to be an artist is just like very abstract kind of vision, like.
Yeah, I like the idea of the concepts of the interview and everything. For me, I'm just trying to wrap my head around why like why you stopped the podcast and possibly why you didn't even, because when you keep saying that, I'm going to ask it as a direct question now, so I'm clear about it. Is the podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify?
No, it's just on YouTube. It's called
Yeah,
Joy
that's what
for
I'm
Living.
saying. Why like I need to understand. Help me understand, please help me. Why are you not publish? Why didn't you publish this podcast?
Because I did it for myself in the first place, and I was not, like I share it because I would just want to keep it like more um, there on YouTube. And I did everything in very raw, like I didn't like just being with my phone, I just put my phone on the, let's say on this stick, and I just doing it like this. And I was feeling like that's, if you go to YouTube, I share with you, you can watch some of them. It's like, I just did it for myself. I haven't like done doing any kind of like promotion or on the continue. Right now, you inspire me to continue to do the
Yeah,
artist voice. And I understood that like it's so many artists, it's so many like amazing, some of them are so amazing. And I was just very like inspired by them. Some of them are kind of still in a journey, and they don't know why they're doing what they do. And um and I was kind of like just curious, that moment of my life. I was just curious because I just started my art career, and I just want to know what it is to be an artist.
yeah. Do you currently do you like have any intention or plan or maybe this faintest idea of starting a podcast?
Probably in some point, I would do that again. I would do
Okay.
it again with the artist voice. And now I'm just in a little bit different phase of my life. I'm just feeling like when I'm completely like settled, I can
Okay.
really organize my, let's say, my agenda, on like my year, and the way I want to organize things around myself. And one thing's also to be an artist. It's very lonely journey.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not so many people understand you, and maybe never will understand you, and it's okay. I was struggle with that as well, because I was doing my best to explain myself and make myself more like simple that people can understand me. And I just accept that, what, it's okay, you know.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it's the fact that you're actively guesting on other podcasts. You're basically doing let's say 70% of the podcasting work already. So it would just be to like decide a bit.
Yeah, exactly. I just get switched sides. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, because
I will do that. Yes. Same for the, for your like believing in me that I should
yeah,
continue to.
yeah, because I'm not like I won't technically, I know almost everybody's like creative and artistic person, but in the real sense of the type of artist you are, I'm not like that kind of artist. But the way the concept, the idea, I've not even listened to the show already, and the concept, the idea, and everything, the way you explained it, and even some of your story you shared, it sounds like something that I know would be of value. Of like, I just know that okay, if you swap that stuff from artist to probably possibly something. Okay, I'll give an example now. This podcast we're recording. The thing you talk about is basically the thing I'm doing on this podcast, which is I'm interviewing people that are podcast hosts, podcast guests and people that are in podcasting and get to hear their story of the human side of what they do, why they make certain choices and all those things. And I love doing it. Like it's the kind of thing that even if nobody listens, I would want to listen. It's more like you make content for yourself, and that's a privileged position.
Yes,
Yeah,
correct.
and
That I was doing the same things, and like by interviewing so many artists, I was like interviewing artists on festivals and like hundreds of artists. And I remember I just understood one thing because I was trying to understand the idea of the artist. And there are one things about artists, they accept the journey itself. They're facing all the struggles, the good, the bad, the ugly, with gratitude and grace, and the smile towards that because they just committed to their path. It's like by creating your own path, by living it, by making living of your own art, and like and having actually great life by living out your own like what you're creating out that what's coming from you.
yeah,
And that what I learned is like your own product. You become your own asset somehow. That
yeah,
need anyone to like give you orders.
yeah,
You are like I am my own order.
yeah,
Ability and freedom in the same time. You started to kind of like understanding how much you can create through the life.
yeah,
That I started to look at the Salvador Dali. He's my one of my that's been completely devoted to his art and for whole his life and how much he created himself. For me, like that devotion, that level of devotion that he had through his life, it's just like wow. And I don't know if like any artist so far like devoted the way he was devoted um lifetime. I just know that each artist who created the story, like a Frida Kahlo, or Picasso, or like that's just recently that one of the recently ones, they created like um, a story, not history, of the art.
yeah,
And just recently, and they just been like died like I don't know, the Picasso just died like 30 years ago or whatever. And like I'm just feeling they've been just recently here, and these people just amazing how much they have done through the just one life, and by being devoted towards their art. So yes, and
yeah,
I'm just starting to understand deeper like artists right now a little bit different and at the same time it's all the same.
yeah.
Different and same
I
but
mean,
different.
that's one of the things that's overwhelming for artists, is the fact that they kind of have like almost unlimited control. They basically can do anything, and that's power itself. It's overwhelming, heavy.
Exactly. It's big responsibility and the same time
Yeah,
big freedom. And some artist was telling me who is more successful already, and they said, "Oh, where my art will take me." So they just travel like, and like if there's someone inviting them somewhere to like create in that country or that city or whatever, and they just go and create. Like my one of my artist friend, like uh, La Blanca, she was traveling around the world. She was, bringing her art in so many different countries and cities, and she's the artist for like last, I think, almost 30 years. And she was sharing with me in interviews, like I interviewed her as well. And I'm just feeling like she was sharing with me and she was telling me, that in her life she just decided to be committed. She's since she's like a girl, little girl, she just knew that her art will, change the world, and she's all about inspiring women and empowering women, and like all her art connected to that. And so like each artist has like their own kind of like a perspective why. And that perspective, what I understood from my own like interview artist, when they artist for like 10 years, 15 years, and I understood that me by interviewing these people, I started to learn better their art life, or like what it is to be an artist. So I kind of like, I would say I speed up a little bit some things, because when I created a dream to be to send my art to the space, and after I decided to send myself to the space, and paint rocket, I just created these ideas. And what I did, I sent the art to the Elon Musk, to Jeff Bezos, and to Richard Branson. Just send my art. I create like a canvases I made like special for them, and I just send it over, to the offices. And by asking Elon Musk to send my art to the space, and like just making the little like a letter for them. And I just feel like as a kid, like because when I was a kid, and I always dream about to travel around the world, and I do, I travel around the world. I've been like many
Yeah.
places, and I feel like it's opened up your mind in such a perspective that you cannot even imagine. Traveling helps you to like be completely limitless, and like live in any countries you want. You're understanding like you could do absolutely anything. And after like when I decided to be an artist, I was like, wow, finally I'm not in a box anymore. Because as engineer, people putting you in a box, as a businesswoman, people putting you in a box. And after like you become an artist, and everyone's kind of like in the beginning, all your friends who knows you for years, like
Sorry.
questioning why you decided to be an artist.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
saying, why not? Because like that's my kind of way of being. And many of my friends right now tell me, oh my gosh, you really like it because you're doing it already for years, and at least for 5 years. And I said, I'm already successful, I'm already selling my art. I'm already living out of my art. And I don't know about other artists. I cannot be responsible for other artists the way they live their life. I'm just feeling that's my kind of a purpose in life. And more I'm creating, more successful I feel inside of me. And even so, like, of course, pennies happen in America. And at the same time, I'm feeling like by come back to Europe, my life becomes so simple and so like humble and so peaceful, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't chasing things. In America, it's like everyone is chasing things all the time. So for me, it was like kind of like fresh, like as a fresh air, breeze, like finally, like in my own terms, you know?
Yeah.
That's how I feel right now. It's just like I'm doing in my own terms. I'm so happy. I'm so joyful. I'm feeling way more joy, just really feeling it, not like from my head, but from my heart. And that's that's what Europe give to me, and I'm feeling like blessed to be here, honestly. And I feel
Yeah.
like my life is just like I'm so grateful for everything what I create in my life, and more I'm grateful towards who I am, the way I am, and the way I communicate with the world. I'm just feeling more and more blessed, more and more lucky.
Yeah.
I am.
Uh,
I am.
Aisha,
Mhm.
uh, first of all, I don't have a course to sell to you. I don't have a product to sell to you. I don't have a coaching program to sell to you. I don't have any of those things to sell to you. And I'm just going to sell this. And of course, you can, discard whatever I have to say. But I'm wondering what I'm trying to understand. And I know I look like I'm hitting it and I'm pressuring it. It looks as if I'm saying the same thing again and again. I'm wondering why you don't have your own show yet. Because you have you see, I'm supposed to be asking you questions, but the moment you just start talking, I'm like, I want to know the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. I'm like, oh, dude, you're supposed to like ask her certain questions, and now you're allowing her just talk. But I'm like, yeah, I want to hear her talk. I'm like, well, honestly, yeah,
Why you?
I know you guest on a podcast, which itself is great, but I'm like, imagine like I'm just saying, honestly,
Yes.
what would it take for you to start your own show?
Nothing. Honestly, nothing. You're right.
Yeah, you have the balance, the stability right now. You're already sharing your story on podcast. You have a lot of friends you could invite on your show, and I mean, literally, you could. Your video is on. Okay, okay, okay. That's your book, Joyful Living Guidebook. Yeah. The funny thing is that when I was talking, my eyes were actually closed because yeah. So it was just that when I opened it, I was like, oh, so the camera is on. I was like, is it by choice or was it an accident? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I like. Yeah, you're the one that designed the book cover.
you know, I agree with you. I was started to like I have many friends, who I interview already, and I can interview
Yeah,
again.
you've done the stuff already. Like it's just the logistics that is left.
Like transfer it actually as well, like to the different platforms if I want to. I already like have
Yeah,
the some of the materials. It's already there.
yeah. Because I mean, you're
Yeah, sorry. I said like I have many artist friends who actually, I can interview again.
yeah, yeah,
You and I will interview again. And now I have many artist friends here in Lisbon, so I can also interview them like in person. So like
yeah, yeah.
the start of the my podcast.
Yeah, I mean, just saying, but I mean, a lot of artists, being an artist is a lonely thing. Like by design, it's lonely, and having to get to see other a podcast where people can listen to see other artists how they navigate their stuff and their life. It's something that's really inspiring, and plus the added benefit is you get to build relationship with the people in your community and the industry.
Yes, I mean the funny things you're saying that in reality it's not about the artist itself, the community, and coming to them. Like that's from my what I'm learning, and like what's like they just create, the artists just consistently create, and living their artist life, and the people who really believe in them and wanted to change the life or like make the life easy or whatever, and they just show up. I don't know, it's just like kind of like magical. It's kind of like a very magical.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, um, I don't want to put you I don't want to put you on the spot. And please, if you feel like I'm putting you on the spot, just say so, and I would refrain from doing it because I want to ask a question now, and I feel like I'm pushing it and I'm taking it too far. And I know that sometimes you feel like you have to be polite, but please, please, if I'm pushing it, just let me know. It's okay, okay, and I'll ask this question. The- if you do intend to start a podcast, I would love to have you back on this podcast to talk about your podcast and then share it with my listeners. And I don't know when that will be, or I don't know if you know when that will be. And so that's the question. So that's why I said, if you feel like I'm putting you on the spot, let me know.
Like you say it's like because you probably you're doing podcast for years as well, because when I started to do the podcast at the artist voice, my idea was just to get enough information about what I want to do, how I want to
Yeah,
like be an artist, or the way I want to like create things, because I was also like very abstract. I mean, I still did the same what I'm doing right now. It was kind of like a similar, my art was in a similar way, and the artist who is like artist for like 25, 30 years, they're like in their 50s, and they look at my art and they say like, wow, and you already have your own way of doing art. It's just so unique and different. They were like, for me, I went to the art school, I've been like in the like from like so many years to discover my own style, my own kind of like way to do art. And here you are like just doing it, and I'm like, you know what, I'm just probably brave Mongolian, I'm just like here to like, okay, I'm just doing it. And
yeah,
result moments in 2021, it's my kind of like my first real like a year as an artist. And I was feeling like when I sold my first artwork for like, I don't remember, it was like 200 or 200 or $300, like little piece. and every artist came to me and said like, "Oh my gosh, it's just the first year and you're already selling your art for like hundreds of the dollars." 2022, so at like end of the 2021, I was selling my art for thousands of dollars, and the artist came to me and it was so funny. Like I understood, why are you selling your art for thousands of dollars? You're just starting. And I said, well, I'm not starting my life. I already am engineer. I was a businesswoman and now I'm an artist. My value, it's like, this is how much I want to charge, you know? And it was like kind of, and they look at me and like, yeah, like kind of like didn't have any way of like response to me. That was very
Yeah, you're
interesting.
kind of shocked.
Yes, exactly. And they were like, but who's this woman?" You know, she's like acting like this, but it was very funny because people buying, you know.
Yeah, I mean, your customers are the ones you should be listening to. They consider your work valuable enough to pay that amount. So who is whoever to talk about it? Like they're not the one buying your art. So I don't know why they're commenting about it.
No, because no, I know that you're not going to buy my art. I'm just saying that, like it was very interesting moments as an artist, like me interviewing artists and the way they were creating like their own value through their time. Like they get to go through the so many like insecurities.
I see. I thought it was just a wayside discussion. I didn't know it was regarding your podcast. Sorry. I don't know why
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
keep calling it a podcast. Your interview project.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because my own, like when I was doing podcast, so my own podcast, I told you, like, was a artist. Like, I started 2020 and I did through the 2021, and
Yeah.
I just interview like many artists. So like for me, I learn what artists struggle with. They struggle with like being confident about themselves, being secure that they are enough, and like or something like that. That by questioning them, these questions that I was questioning, I was learning so many things,
Yeah.
questions about their personality, about their dreams, what inspires you,
Yeah.
impact you want to create, who you want, like how do you want to see yourself in 5 years and 10 years, do you have a dream? So like for me, asking these questions, I, I was listening to them. And of course, I was sharing some things about myself as well. I just feel they giving me amazing tools that I started to use because I have that confidence. I don't question myself 100 times of it's an I'm enough or not. I know that I'm enough and I'm loved. It's just like in my mind was, why are you questioning yourself in the first place? You already exist
Yeah.
here and now. You're amazing human being just by being here. And
Yeah.
and not so many people have that perspective. That's what I learned as well through my podcast. Like I learned like
Yeah.
people questioning themselves a
you,
lot.
you sorry to say this, but you keep calling it your podcast. And for me, I feel like, I feel like you are like a man who's calling a lady his wife. And I'm like, young man, you've not done the necessary things. You need to do the official celebration so we
Yes, I
can
think
legalize everything.
real podcast. I agree. Again, I got to start it again, and like a question many people and more like informal, like a more like a flowing for like my echo, like more like fluid format. It's fun. I think my
Yeah.
podcast is fun as well. Like when I started to do that, actually.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, we need to make it official. You already calling this a podcast. Let's make it official.
Exactly. Let's do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will send you the podcast that I had like some years ago, so you can watch it.
Yeah, I'll go check it out. The name of the channel is Aisha Makara, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, my channel on YouTube is Joy Living Guide.
Oh, Joyful Living Guide. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, on the YouTube.
Okay. Okay. There. I'll check it out. I'll probably give it a subscribe and then leave a thoughtful comment. Yeah. Honestly, before I ask you, where listeners can learn more, connect with you, please, yeah, I'd love for if there's any way I could help, right? Anything I can do to help you bring the podcast. That's if it's something you want to do to maybe reality. I would love to gladly help. Right? Please just reach out to me. You have my email and you have my details.
I do.
Yeah, yeah. Please reach out to me. Don't hesitate. I like really. This is coming. This is not you asking. This is coming from. I really want to like, have you start a podcast, and then hopefully I'll invite you on the podcast. We'll do an interview, and then we'll talk about all about your podcast.
Okay.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
do you live right now? What part of the world?
I'm talking to you from Nigeria right now.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
How it's like a 6 a.m. there. Seven.
Yeah, it's 5 a.m. 5 a.m. Yeah.
We're in the same zone.
Oh, serious? Wait, you talking to me 5 a.m.?
No,
Wow, wow. Wait, you don't sleep at night?
no, I do sleep on night. I went to sleep actually last night, like very early. I mean, early, relatively early. Try to, and I wake up at 4, like at 3:30. Like prepare myself a little bit, and um, kind of get ready for the podcast. And I
Wow.
set myself like
No, for me, it sounds like
I
you
couldn't
like
find any like frame, like a time that was be a little bit like later or earlier. And
yeah.
your started like I think it from 4 a.m. or something like that. Your schedule.
Yeah. Oh. The reason why that time is like that is that more than almost 98% of my guests they are from the US, and so I was like, okay, I needed to wait to like bulk everything in a place. I was like, okay, I'm just going to do interviews in the night and no longer in the day.
No, I'm
Wow.
Europe. So yes, I mean, of course, I'm like
Oh yeah, that's true. Europe, GMT 1. Yeah, yeah, with West African time. Yeah, yeah. I see why.
yeah, and I of course I was living in the United States, and the thing is like I moved here, and it's like every time my own interviews, the people who interview me, most of them is from United States.
Yeah. So you do that during the nights. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like last time, I couldn't show. I like one of my interviews, I didn't show up. She was doing, I don't remember even like it was just recently. Like it also was very like late. It's 3 a.m. I think, and
Ooh.
3 a.m. or 3:30 a.m. And I couldn't show. Like I fell asleep, and
Yeah, you slept off. Yeah,
I didn't hear the
the
alarm.
alarm. Yeah.
And they were like streaming. They have like a special platform that they're streaming directly.
Oh,
That was a whole thing, and I was like very
very sorry. Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
it
yeah.
was
It happens. It happens. Yeah.
yeah,
Before we talk now, and I forget for you to tell listeners where they can learn more about you. Please, can you just share that before I'll just forget that.
okay. Well, people can find me on Aisha dot today. It's AISHA dot
Wow,
today.
wow, that's nice.
Uh, about my project, what I'm developing right now, about my art, and my book. My book you can find on Amazon and any platforms around the world. It's a Joyful Living Guidebook by Aisha Makara. And I also have my mentorship program. It's on my website. It's called like Joyful Living. And yeah, I'm going to do my podcast that will call The Artist Voice by Aisha.
Yeah, yeah. Honestly, like
But I've been
I,
inspired again. I get to continue to do that.
yeah. Honestly, I how do I put it now? I don't know what the metric might be, but I feel like it's something valuable that a lot of people will gain from, and yeah, yeah.
Okay, I will send to you when I send you actually to my YouTube right now, like my old one.
Okay,
I will create a new one, and I will use more like Apple and the other things like
okay.
which is probably my old. Even so, it's old, right? It's not old because people still will benefit when I putting it in more like audio format.
Yeah. Of course, of course. You can even decide to say, the sweet thing here is, the kind of the topic you talked about and interview them is kind of like evergreen. So what you could do is you could, of course, you start a new channel. I don't know if you start new channel, but that's like it's not one of those how do I put it now? It's not like a ride or die. It's more like, yeah, if you prefer to start a new one, it's great, awesome. But you could actually start releasing this the video episode like maybe once or twice every week, while you start deciding what to do. You understand? So you have a podcast ready and being consistent while you're like still saying, okay, where do I get the next guest and stuff like that.
Exactly, because like I can also see the way I can organize myself. I don't need to do like hundreds guests a year. I can
Yeah,
maybe just 10 guests a year or like 20 guests
yeah,
interview
yeah.
them in maybe in 1 month, and after that I'm just posting it like every 2 weeks or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, the sweet thing is that a podcast is your show, so it's basically your own thing. You can basically do whatever you like. Yeah, at the end of the day, you're the chef. You're the one in charge of the cooking.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Aisha. I won't take much of your time, but please, please, and I'll say this again. Do not hesitate to reach out to me if you stuck on anything and you feel like you need help.
Yeah, I will send you my old YouTube channel so you can.
Yeah, I'm just saying this is not one of those polite things you tell to your angry your neighbor that you hate. Say like, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Like, I actually mean it. I want you to reach out to me, please. Huh?
I
So so this is not like me trying to be polite. Like, oh, please, if I don't want you to reach out to me, I'll tell you that please don't reach out to me. Or I don't want you to reach out to me. I'm not going to like say please don't reach out to me. And you understand? I'm not one of those like I'm saying it because I really want to help. That's why I'm saying it. You get so I'm just putting out there.
I'm going to reach out to you.
Yeah,
Like even now, I'm going to send you the send email, and you
yeah, yeah.
I will reach out to you. That is when I started slowly.
Yeah, if you need help creating the cover art, I don't know if you have a background in design or stuff like that. I'll gladly help you as long as it's I can help to make sure that this podcast is comes to reality. I'll gladly do that. I can create a podcast art for you, any of those things.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm really serious. Like, I currently have about 7 podcasts. So it's not like I'm an expert, but I can help you get started. That's it for today's episode of my podcast story. I am Wisdom Okonkwo, and I hope this conversation sparked new ideas and gave you a deeper look into the heart of podcasting. If you've loved this episode, consider supporting the show by buying me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/wisdomhq. Every bit helps keep the stories going. And hey, don't forget to follow, rate, and share this podcast with another podcaster or creator who would find it helpful. Thanks again for listening, and I'll catch you in the next episode.